Hello and welcome back to my vlog. I'm going to read a little more from the Divine Matrix, as this is the book that's occupying my mind at the moment. And I certainly won't read all of it because, you know, copyright and all that. This isn't a book that's been out of print, not in the public domain. And there's a lot of stuff in here that you should probably get the book and read it yourself. So, this is another part of in section 2, and it's a little subsection called RealityMaking 101. And he mentions in here some interpretations of an experiment, and that was the double slit experiment that you might have heard about. RealityMaking 101. In the teachings of Mahayana Buddhism, it's believed that reality can exist only where our mind creates a focus. In fact, the wisdom suggests that both the world of pure form and that of the formless result from a mode of consciousness called subjective imagination. While any experience certainly seems real enough to us, it's only when we direct our attention while we're having a feeling about the object of our focus that a possible reality becomes that real experience. Except for a slight variation in the language, this ancient tradition sounds a lot like 20th century quantum theory. If all of the do's and don'ts of quantum possibilities are true, and emotion is the key to choosing reality, then the question is, how do we feel as if something has happened when the person next to us stares squarely in the face, stares us? Let me reread that. How do we feel as if something has happened when the person next to us stares us squarely in the face and says that it hasn't? For example, we are lying to ourselves if we say that a loved one is already healed while we're standing over that person in the intensive care unit of Saint Someone's Hospital. The irony of this last question is that its very nature eludes any single answer. In a universe of many possible realities, there are numerous potential answers. Somewhere among all those alternate realities, there exists a scenario where our loved one's healing has already happened. Someplace there's a reality where the disease never even occurred. For reasons that we may never know or understand, however, this isn't the outcome that's been awakened. It's not the reality that's lying on the gurney in front of us. The answer to our question boils down to what we believe about the world and our power to choose. The question then becomes, which possibility do we pick? Which reality does our loved one or the doctor decide on? To answer this, we must first acknowledge that we have the power to make such a choice. Just as Neville's story of the man and his near-fatal illness demonstrated, the present reality isn't set in stone. Rather, it appears to be soft and malleable. It can even change when it looks as if there's no reason for it to do so. In Neville's account, the young man's doctors had made a diagnosis, picked a reality, with an expected outcome. Not knowing that he had a choice, the man initially believed them and bought into their version of reality. It was only when he was offered another possibility, and he accepted it, that his body responded to his new belief, and did so quickly. I share another powerful example of such a possibility in Chapter 4. Einstein made a famous statement that we can't solve a problem while we're in the same level of thinking that created it. Similarly, we can't change a reality if we remain in the same consciousness that made it. To lock in one of the many possibilities described by the Copenhagen, many worlds, and Penrose theories of reality, we must pinpoint it. And we do so through the way we observe it, that is, how we feel about it in our lives. Once we recognize that we have a choice in terms of what we see as our reality, the next questions that are commonly asked are, how do we do it? How are we to view someone as healed if the body of that person appears diseased? The answer begins with our willingness to look beyond the illusion of what the world is showing us. In the example of our loved ones' illnesses, we're invited to see beyond the sickness that they've experienced, thinking about them as already healed and feeling what it's like to be with them in this new reality. To choose a different possibility, however, we must do more than just think about the new way of being or wish that the recovery of our loved one had already happened. This is perhaps the greatest caution in this way of seeing the world and the one that can present the greatest pitfall. In our fear of losing the people, places, and things that we hold most dear, there's a temptation to deal with the magnitude of the situation by denying the reality that stares us in the face, simply saying that we don't believe it. But unless we also take the actions that replace that frightening reality with one of healing, our non-acceptance is bound to produce little more than frustration and disappointment. I've personally experienced the loss of friends who fell into this trap and are no longer in this world today. Although they're the only ones who will ever know what really happened in their hearts and minds before passing, I had the opportunity to witness some of the struggles they went through with their beliefs. If I'm such a powerful being, they reasoned, then why do I still have this condition? I've changed my beliefs. Why haven't I healed? The topic is deep, personal, and sensitive, and the answer can often bring up strong feelings in discussions about what is, how the universe seems to work, and where God fits in. The bottom line is this: there's a fine and delicate balance between simply choosing a new possibility and actually following through with the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that awaken that outcome as a new reality. To choose a quantum possibility, we must become that way of being. As Neville suggests, we must abandon ourselves to the new possibility, and in our love for that state, live in the new state and no more in the old state. And that's precisely what the ancient instructions, found in some of our most cherished traditions, invite us to do. The technique for this human-to-divine interface is often called prayer. And that's the end of the little piece from the Divine Matrix, which all these things are tying together in my mind. I doubt. Well, I don't know about yours. Anyway, make it a great day, and bye for now.